Hey guys, James here at Jarashut. I've got a DVD update for you, but just firstly I want to say a big thank you to all you people out there for subscribing, because you've helped me get to the 500 subscribers mark, and believe me when I say I never thought I'd get that high or see that number, because I started out really small and it was just kind of a whim thing, and I've been really surprised how well I've been received here and just how nice people here are on YouTube. It can be a really hard job at times. There's a lot of pressure to get up a video every few days, and actually doing the videos can take up a lot of time and effort to do them right, to make them entertaining and something people want. It can be an unrewarding experience, but you guys make it all worthwhile. I love doing this stuff. So if you want me to keep making videos, just watch them and I'll keep doing them. So yeah, thank you very much, and I'll try and cut it here. I don't want to get too soppy, but I just wanted to say a big thank you to you all, and yeah, you really appreciate it, so thank you. First up we've got from 1982, it's Madman. This is a slasher, very similar in premise to something like Friday the 13th or The Burning, whereby it's kind of based on a campfire story or a folklore. This time it's a guy called Madman Mars who's thrown back across the campfire by teenagers. This one was suggested to me when I done my top 10 slasher film video, and yeah, I hadn't included that one. I do think I have watched it, but it was a long time ago and I can't really recall it that well. Very vague in my mind, but it seems to be very highly regarded by slasher fans. So I don't think you can go wrong with this one if you're a fan of those kind of movies. I definitely recommend it. From what I remember, it was really good too. This is the UK Anchor Bay release. All we've got on here is audio commentary, but yeah, it's worth getting because the American version is out of print now and it's quite expensive, so yeah, you can just go for this UK release. I'm not too sure on the blood and gore and all that kind of thing, but from the back and what I've read, once again, it sounds really good, so yeah, I'd say you couldn't go wrong with Madman. So Madman from 1982. Next up we've got Frank Henenlotter movie. He of course done movies like Basket Case, Brain Damage. He's a very low budget, in my opinion, underrated director from New York. Does a lot of scuzzy, over the top, bloody and nudity filled films, and this one's no exception. It's Frankenhooker from 1990. This one basically takes on the whole Frankenstein story, but it's this time a woman. It's created by this mad scientist guy, and yeah, it kind of incorporates prostitution and drugs and police busts, over the top gore and blood and all that kind of things in there. There's also heaps of black humour, which is another trademark of his films. Very, very funny at times, a lot of slapstick kind of stuff like Evil Dead 2. So if you enjoy those kind of films, you're definitely going to enjoy this one. It's a really top effort from him. Maybe not as good as something like Basket Case, but it's still, in my opinion, top tier stuff, so I'd highly recommend this one. This is the Australian release from, I think it's Rialto. So yeah, great film in my opinion, Frankenhooker. Next up we have a movie that was supposed to feature in my Giallo update, and it had actually slipped between my couch. Totally overlooked it, so I'm going to include it here now. And it's Dario Argento's Four Flies in Grey Velvet. This is the recent My Communication release from the States. Kind of considered his lost Giallo film. It's one of his earliest ones from 1971, part of his unofficial Animal trilogy. This one I did own on DVD-R, but I did upgrade to this one. I'm pretty happy with the end result. It's basically about this young musician who's being stalked by this old creepy guy. He decides to confront him in this old theatre and accidentally kills him, basically. While this was taking place, there was someone up in the rafters watching this happen, and he starts to blackmail the musician, starts to investigate himself like in a lot of these films. Murder mystery filled movie, Giallo film. Very entertaining. It's probably not one of his best efforts, but it's still a worthwhile film to get if you're a fan of the director. It looks very, very good. It's in anamorphic widescreen, better than I thought it was going to look. There are a few cuts in here, but not to violence or anything like that. I think it's to a few conversations and such that, yeah, they just weren't in the print when they sourced them. But it's nothing that's going to destroy the viewing experience of this movie, so I'd definitely say check it out. As for special features, we've got trailers, but that's basically it. So this is probably the best release we're going to see for this film for a little bit, so I'd say it's worth a look. And yeah, pretty good film in my opinion. And if you're a Dario Argento completist, you definitely want this one. So, Four Flies on Grey Velvet. Next up we have a quasi-slasher movie, maybe closer in keeping to something of a thriller, but still a really good film. I saw it when I was younger, and it's Crawlspace from 1986. It's directed by David Schmoller, who also done Tourist Trap, one of my favourite all-time slasher movies. This one stars the infamous Klaus Kinski as the main character, and he does a wonderfully demented job in this one once again. It's basically about this hotel clerk that runs this boarding house, and he's a voyeur. He crawls around in the ducts, the air vents, and he basically spies on all these guests. And there's ties to Nazism and all that kind of thing. So it's a very, yeah, again, wonderfully demented movie. A lot of craziness, and this guy goes off on some big rants, which is a good thing because Klaus Kinski is superb at doing that kind of stuff. There's some really memorable one-liners and all that kind of thing. As for blood and gore and nudity and all that kind of thing, which slasher fans would be interested in, it's pretty light and all that kind of stuff. It's still really worthwhile and well made and interesting concept too, and very highly recommended with Crawlspace. This is the Australian re-release from MGM, and yeah, highly recommended, Crawlspace. A lot of people would have seen this movie, so I'll be pretty quick with this one, but it's Pan's Labyrinth. This is the Australian special edition, the 2-disc one. As you can see, it's kind of got like a weird kind of foil steelbook kind of cover. Very well packaged, very nice to look at. As for the film, it's pretty much a fantasy horror movie. I don't really need to go into much depth because, as I said, I think a lot of people would have seen this one. Great visuals in this one, great cinematography. Just all the fantasy elements are really well done and imaginative, which is what you want in these kind of movies, and it kind of does have a childlike quality to it at times. So great film in my opinion. I'll try and actually open this thing up for you because it's quite hard to get out, but here we go, I got it out straight away. So it's kind of like a fold out book when you get it out. Got 2 pictures on here. Then you open it up and you've got the 2 discs, and you also get some postcard sized reproductions here. We've got the eyeball hand creature, which is one of the most memorable parts of the movie. We've got Pan with the little girl. The general that gives that guy a bottle in the face, another really memorable scene. And yeah, the little girl again on her bed. But yeah, it's pretty cool to have these little bonuses in with the actual film. And I got this for really cheap, so I can't complain at all. I'm really happy with the purchase. As for special features, we get a director's commentary. We also get the featurettes, The Power of Myth. And I'm going to have a go at pronouncing this next one, El Forno y las Hadas. So I don't know if I did that right, but anyway. We've also got the colour and the shape, and director's notebook, trailers, and much more. So lots of supplementary material on there, and yeah, highly recommended once again. Next up we've got a Dario Argento movie, well actually a Dario Argento and George A. Romero movie, and that should pretty much give it away, but yeah. Two Evil Eyes from 1990. This is the limited edition from Blue Underground. I did not have this movie up until recently. I had seen it when I'd done my Dario Argento movie. I expressed that I did like this movie. I actually really like this film. It's basically a directorial effort from the two. They both adapted Edgar Allan Poe stories. Romero done The Facts in the Case of Mr. Voldemort, and Dario Argento done The Black Cat. And the first one's basically about this conniving wife with a rich older husband, and yeah, a lot of mystery and kind of backstabbing and all that kind of thing. And then right at the end it changes gear. Really interesting movie. The Black Cat's basically a murder mystery type film with Harvey Keitel. He's a photographer, I think. I have not watched this one in a while, so I'm going off memory, but yeah, they're both interesting films. I personally liked George Romero's movie a bit more. I know the norm is people seem to like Dario Argento's effort, but for me I liked Romero's film. As for special features, you've got heaps and heaps on here. We've got 2 Master's Eyes interviews with directors Dario Argento and George Romero. Special effects makeup supervisor Tom Savini, executive producer Claudia Argento and Archie Argento. Savini's effects, behind the scenes look at the film's special effects. At Home with Tom Savini, a personal tour of Tom Savini's home. Adrian Barbeau and George Romero. So lots of interesting stuff in there. And inside we've got an insert and the 2 discs. And I think I've actually run out of time, so I'm going to have to stop. But yeah, thank you for watching, and once again, thank you to all you people for subscribing, and Jarashut out.